This is Jane Talbot, and I am just swerving by to update you today about how I am upping my game for the next couple of months in the hope of optimising my performance. Yeah. So last Monday, I had my musical theatre grade 8 exam. That's the first of my adventures under my belt, and I should hear around Easter how well I did. And I have to say that I did work hard for that examination. I prepared fully for all elements of it, and I wasn't nervous at all. Just before the exam, I got a chance to rehearse with the accompanist, and yes, there was adrenaline in my system and I could feel the energy of that. But once I got into the examination room and started the process of performing and the conversations that go with the examination, I kind of felt hollow, I suppose is the best word, not in a bad way, but that all my energy, the performance was coming out unimpaired, as best as I could perform those songs. I don't know whether I've passed or failed. The instinct is that I have passed. But the most interesting thing to come out of that experience was I was performing away, and suddenly a thought entered my mind that what I was doing was a bit like the Faking It programme. Faking It was a television series probably 10-20 years ago maybe, where people who weren't experts at things had intense preparation and then were put in front of experts in that particular field, and the experts had to guess who was faking it. And it entered my mind is, I wonder if this examiner thinks I'm faking it. I wonder if this examiner knows that I'm coming in straight at grade 8 and I've never done this before. And that for me was interesting. And I just wonder if there's a part of me that thinks I'm faking my life. That's probably worth exploring. And I wonder if there's a part of me that thinks maybe you have to work even harder than you're already working to succeed. And I'm not sure if that's actually true. So I'm going to explore that thought of faking it over the next couple of months. I am doing lots of things to try and, I don't know if the word is improve my performance, but certainly get the most out of my experiences. One of the things I'm doing is reading, and I mentioned in a recent video blog this book, The Rise of the Superman, which I have now finished, and I have popped a YouTube video below my blog, video blog, so that you can actually watch, it's about an hour long, a version of the book that'll give you everything you need. It came to light reading this book that a lot of athletes or extreme sports people pursue the flow because it gives them this feeling of oneness with the universe, and this state which comes right at people's edges has all sorts of performance benefits. But I suppose the thing that struck me by reading the end to the end was that many of the athletes in this book are now dead as a result of pursuing their sports. And if they weren't dead while the guy was writing this book, they're dead now. So it does come with strings attached. I then moved on to this book, Over the Edge, which I found completely heartwarming. It was written in 1997. And this so-called average guy, and I don't know how average he actually was, created a bucket list of 13 things to do, which were quite outrageous for an average guy. So things like the Escape from Alcatraz triathlon, which involves swimming in a body of water that has sharks in it. He did an ice climb. He did the Badwater Death Valley run, which is a very, very challenging ultra run. And he climbed Denali. Well, he tried to climb Denali. What I thought was really brilliant about this book was he actually failed some of his bucket list, and it didn't make a difference to him. It was still an enriching experience, and it was also mind expanding or horizon expanding, and what he recognised in himself as what he thought was a really big deal when he started out was no longer a big deal. So he was looking at bigger deals by the end of the process. And he didn't really give up. He went back, or intended to go back, and give things that he'd failed at another go. I really, really enjoyed that book. Now I'm reading How Bad Do You Want It? It's about the psychobiological model of performance improvement, or mind over muscle. And the author, really it's a series of case studies or stories about people who were looking like things weren't going really well and who turned it round by recognising that their bodies didn't cut out first. There wasn't some kind of emergency switch that said, hey, you're working too hard here, you better stop. It's actually the mind that cuts out first. And by mastering the mind, the body will follow. So that's how I am, if you like, doing my mental preparations. I find that reading quite inspiring. I go to bed really early, about 9 o'clock, and I read myself to sleep. And I'm really enjoying what I'm learning. From a physical perspective, obviously I've got my training program, and I talked about food before, and I will talk about sleep in another video blog. But I'm also experimenting with this. This is creatine monohydrate. Jury's out, really. There's, depending on what you read, some people say it works, some people say it doesn't work. They're not sure about women. A lot of the research has been carried out on men. It's really a supplement for power sports, explosive sports, so sprinting, powerlifting would come in that category. And basically it draws, or this is a theory, it draws water into the muscle. So I should gain, it said, 2 to 4 pounds in the first week of use, and that would probably be water. And what it does is it replenishes the adenosine triphosphate in the muscles, and that's the primary fuel of the muscles. So you should be able to work harder and longer. So you don't take it and you suddenly become stronger. It creates conditions for you to train a little bit harder and a little bit longer. Now, this is my second week of taking it. And in the first week, I did put on a pound. I thought, this is working. And I've just weighed myself this morning because I thought I'm actually feeling quite light, and I've lost that pound. So I have not put on 2 to 4 pounds. But I do feel, I don't know, I've had some sessions. I've done a 3 repetition max on a deadlift. So I've got a new 3 repetition max of 92.5 kilograms. Now, that's probably the training effect of my powerlifting training program. My sprinting, I just feel so much lighter on my feet and faster. And I've got absolutely no doubt that even if physiologically this doesn't do anything, psychologically it might do something. Most of the stuff I've read said actually your benefit is through chronic use. So it'll take a while for me to, if I am going to benefit from it, because there's plenty of evidence that there are people who are so-called non-responders to creatine monohydrate. It's going to take time. So I'm going to stick with it and see what happens, and I will keep you posted. Bye for now.